Well, yesterday apparently was quite the day in the testimony of Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, the National Security Officer in charge of Ukraine policy. Oh, you know he's a spy or a traitor, right? These bitch bastards on Fox, I don't believe them. It's right. Who's the blonde bimbo who came up with this? What's her name? Laura Ingraham. What the fuck does she use for brains? I mean, it's just unbelievable. And did you see her guest, John Yoo? That filthy pig son of a bitch. He's the one who wrote the memo when he was with the Justice Department legalizing torture. John Yoo, that toad fucker sitting there with Laura Ingraham, he's the one that made torture in the United States a matter of foreign policy. Now, I know what you're going to say. Torture in the United States has been going on forever. Actually, since before 1619, which is when we first brought Africans over here and turned them into enslaved people. I mean, torture has always been. The Christian church here has been torturing people since the Christian church landed on these shores. I mean, the witch trials, all this other horseshit. The lynching of black folk. I mean, there's always been torture, but it's never been the official policy of the U.S. government until John Yoo. And there was John Yoo sitting there playing bullshit, whatever they were playing, with Laura Ingraham. And on the other side of Laura Ingraham sat that toad Dershowitz. So there you had John Yoo, a professor at USC, Berkeley, and Dershowitz, a professor at Harvard. These two assholes bookending this bitch in the middle, who in her smarmy, sarcastic way just drops a little gem that maybe Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman just might be a traitor, a spy, because he had the factual information on this fuck in the White House. Laura Ingraham, go to hell. Dershowitz, fuck you. And John Yoo, who's your loyalty to, bro? Huh? You got a funny last name there. Y-O-O. What is that? Have you got divided loyalty? Is that Chinese? Colonel Vindman told impeachment investigators yesterday that he tried to make changes to the transcript of that call, that mafia call from the pig Trump to the new president of Ukraine, Zelensky. Vindman was trying to make changes to the transcript that reflected the actual phone call, not the shit that was left out in the transcript that Trump keeps saying, oh, you got the whole transcript. No, we don't, you lying piece of dog crap. CNN reports, while the White House initially said ellipses in the transcript did not represent omissions from the transcript, Colonel Vindman said, yes, they did. Now, let me ask you something. If you had a choice, and you do, of believing anything Donald Trump says and anything Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman says, who would you choose? Right. If you had a choice of believing Trump on this or Vindman, who would you choose? Of course. Unless your brain has been sucked out and replaced with helium from watching too much Fox Sewer Channel. Vindman said he would have added Burisma, the name of the company that employed Hunter Biden, and that Trump pushed to have Zelensky investigate. He would have added that to the transcript, according to CNN's reporting on Vindman's testimony. And the New York Times then followed CNN's report by suggesting the changes that Vindman wanted in that transcript of that July 25th call were ignored. The changes that Colonel Vindman, National Security Council official in charge of U.S. policy, Ukraine policy, that was ignored, what he wanted back in. Another report suggests the changes would fundamentally alter anyone's understanding of the call. Yeah. One of the New York Times examples of how Vindman wanted to adjust the transcript contradicts what the Trump pig said about the transcript when it was released. Asked in September why there were 3 ellipses, a senior White House official said, quote, "They don't indicate missing words or phrases. They refer to a trailing off of a voice or a pause. If there were missing words or phrases, they would be represented by brackets or redactions. This is a standard practice that's followed for all records of presidential phone calls." End quote. I wonder how long it took whatever pig said that to rehearse the lines and get them down that pat. You know what I'm saying? Hill Republicans, these dog-faced bastards in the Republican Party on Capitol Hill, are saying, especially Steve Scalise, the one that was shot, God damn, he recovered. Oh, that racist Nazi fuck. Steve Scalise of Louisiana called this grand jury hearing, which is what it's comparable to what's going on right now. He called it a Soviet-style process. Steve Scalise of Louisiana. He's that crazed-looking one with the funny head and the little brrrr on top of his head. It looks like hair. I don't know what it is. It may be nerve endings. He called it a Soviet-style process, a constitutionally mandated preliminary hearing into an impeachment inquiry, and Steve Scalise calls it a Soviet-style process. You bloat-faced prick, you. What do you mean a Soviet-style process? What would you do? Would you like to turn it into more of a Christian event, since you are Christian, Catholic, I believe, right? Why don't you go to your child-molesting priest and tell him that his church is a den of child buggerers? Oh, no, you won't do that, but you're going to call this a Soviet-style process. You asshole. See, Vindman, who testified Tuesday, fled the Soviet Union as a 3-year-old with his parents and his twin brother. And Colonel Vindman might be able to explain to this asshole Scalise the difference between what's going on in the basement of the Capitol building and what went on in the Soviet Union. But Scalise wouldn't even listen. He wouldn't even listen. I keep getting a picture of his corpulent body stretched out on a baseball field, and all these Democrats and Republicans just, oh, somebody call an ambulance. Oh, he's been shot. Vindman is emerging as another key witness, corroborating Fiona Hill and providing the latest twist in an impeachment inquiry that offers something new every day. He's the first witness to offer testimony in the inquiry who actually listened in to the July 25th phone call between the pig and Ukrainian President Zelensky. And Vindman said that he raised red flags, so to speak, immediately after the phone call. He didn't wait. He immediately, hey, wait. In his opening statement, Colonel Vindman told of fleeing the Soviet Union as a child and how that made him an American. He proved it by serving in Iraq. This is how CNN reports it. Vindman never complains about it, but still carries shrapnel in his body from an Iraq IED attack, a source close to him told CNN. He said, quote, "I'm a patriot, and it's my sacred duty and honor to advance and defend our country, irrespective of party or politics." That's another thing that a pile of human waste like Steve Scalise or Jim Jordan or some of these assholes who represent us from North Carolina, something they would never understand. They have no loyalty to the United States anymore. Their loyalty right now is to Donald Trump until another right-wing dictator comes along, and they'll drop Trump, if Trump's still alive, as fast as you can say, here's a new dictator, and switch over to him.
Greetings, truth seekers. It's that time of year again. Time to help your humble and obedient podcaster keep it lit by keeping the lights on in the Malloy studio with a podcast pledge drive. All October, we are giving away freebies, goodies, and gifts as thank yous for subscribing or renewing your Malloy podcast at the Trump recession level reduced price of $49 a year. It's a different giveaway each week, truth seekers. Everything from an autographed copy of Mike's book, Colored Ice Cream, to my holiday baked goods. Already have a Malloy podcast? Well, it makes a great gift. And remember, podcast subscribers also get exclusive access to the weekend bonus shows, which might be hosted by Mike or by me. We even have a teen show coming up featuring Molly and her friends. Just visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe or renew today. Keep it lit.